Hi folks, Bodine52 here with you. If you're interested in information from just a regular guy after about 5,000 miles on the Harley Davidson Ultra Limited, stay tuned and watch this video. Hi folks, I just wanted to do a quick review on my thoughts on the 2018 Harley Davidson Ultra Limited and tell you some of the things that I like and then the few things that maybe I don't like so much. So let me start off by telling you that this bike, as far as I'm concerned, is an awesome touring bike. Starting off with just how much room that you have in this motorcycle. You can just kind of see that the bags have plenty of space in them. A lot of folks will put one person's clothes in that, the other person's clothes on the other side. I happen to keep my rain gear that I recently used in here, and these things are nice and deep, so it has a lot of really good storage. You can see the tour pack has a lot of space in it, space to kind of put your manual and stuff. I keep an extra set of glasses in here. It does have a power port, which is pretty awesome, and tons of room in here. This on the Limiteds, you also get the luggage rack, which I have used, so you can really fill this bike up. So if you're thinking about touring, at least especially from a storage perspective, this bike is definitely a good fit. You know, the other thing I will tell you, from a comfort perspective, it is an extremely comfortable bike. This happens to be the stock seat. I have added a backrest to this. I have added a cup for my wife, but we love this seat as is. Nice floorboards for the wife, makes that extremely comfortable. From my perspective, same thing, really comfortable bike. Some concerns about if you're super tall, but I'll talk to you about those as I get on and ride the bike. So this happens to be a two-tone. It is a Milwaukee 8 engine, as you can see, and it rides super nice. I've never had any problem with the motorcycle, and again, I have about 5,200 miles on it. I did put a couple things on the bike. I put the foot pegs on, as you can see right here. I also put the backrest on, I told you about. I put on a Ciro phone holder, which is fantastic. I also put on some Vance & Hines pipes that I really love. And I think that's really all I did aftermarket. You know, I put on a different derby cover, just some minor stuff. I did put on these. These are not stock mirrors. These are not stock mirrors. So I just like the look of these, as well as gives you kind of a better look onto the side of you. So from a safety perspective, I think it is awesome. You know, on this bike, it does have the vent here that you can kind of close off, open up. Really helps the flow of air coming through. You can see from a gauge perspective, it's pretty attractive. It does have a lighter plug right here, which I run across for my phone. Now, I will tell you, they sell these that you can make them powered, so you don't have to do that. Tie right to the battery. Or, and I'll just kind of throw my phone in there so you can kind of see how it fits, right? Or some folks will mount this over on this side. I just don't like anything being on my throttle side, so I'll just run that across. But you do have full capability to have power to anything that you want. You can also see the front of the bike. She's a little dirty right now, but I did put on some new lights in a couple different places. Let me see if I can show you. So you can see the custom dynamics turn signal lights here. The other are stock. And then you can just kind of see the back of the bike and how it is lit up. Those two lights to each side of that tail light are also custom dynamics lights. Those are, they call them Fillerz, and I'll link you to an installation video I did on those. But you can see that that space normally is empty, so I didn't necessarily like that look. Also, you normally will have a super long antenna. I got the little one that on there. It was like 30 bucks from a Harley place. So while I did add a bunch of stuff to it, I will tell you this bike is great stock as well. So if you're buying the bike and say, I don't have enough money to do all the things this guy did, you really don't need to. Hey, let's take it for a rip, talk a little bit more about it and how it handles. Alrighty folks, before we get started, wanted to kind of show you a little bit. This is the Harley boombox. If you're not familiar with those, I'll make sure to put a link to a couple buddies' channels that have done those. Has radio, Bluetooth, all that fun stuff. Has navigation on it, which I'll talk about here as we get on the road a little bit. Has kind of a little place here that you do have some power. So whether you're wanting to try to run your phone off of that power or not, I happen to keep my garage door opener kind of hidden up there. But you can see from a controls perspective, you know, it toggles back and forth of this map or anything on the boombox. And we'll just get going, and I'll kind of talk a little bit about it and try to share with you what I think about the bike. Again, a Ciro 3D phone holder. I'll also link a video I did on that. Really worth the investment. I've went through a bunch of those, and I like this one by far the best. Alrighty, folks. So a couple of the other things that I like about this bike is, and we'll show you as we get out of here, is just the handling on this thing. And a lot of, you know, those that don't have a Milwaukee 8, if you happen to own a Harley now, is the Milwaukee 8 engine, whether you'll agree or not, because I think there's difference of opinion. I've never had a problem with it, or so far. I have 5,294 miles on it. But I think the other thing that I like about the upgrade, because I did have a 2016 Street Glide Special, is the suspension on these things are amazing. And yeah, hey, I know I'm riding 20 miles an hour, but you know, on the way over here, there was a car in front of me at a light. We both started going. He drove over the center of a big old metal piece, and I was easily able to maneuver around it because the bike really is quite nimble for a 900-pound wet bike. So I will tell you that while nimble, and I've had zero problems with the Milwaukee 8 engine so far, that it is a heavy bike. So if you are somebody that has a hard time holding up a bike, have a hard time lifting your leg over, while some people will actually mount or get on this motorcycle with putting their leg or their foot on the passenger board and putting their leg over that way or not. I know a good buddy of mine does that. It is a heavy bike. And I think the other thing, I mean, it's a heavy touring bike, and if that's what you're going to get it and looking for, then hey, I think it's fantastic. If you're looking for something to just run around town in, maybe not the bike, because it's a touring bike, right? So, and one of the things that I'll say about this bike, as I try to take these corners a little bit for you, is I rode this bike I've taken a couple trips in the 400 or 500 mile range. Recently, I moved the bike back from Pittsburgh to Michigan, where I now live, and it's a pleasure. It is extremely comfortable. I don't know if you can see here, but the pegs, you know, I tend to put my legs up on both of these. I am 6'3", and extremely comfortable riding long distances. And again, you have the three really storage places on the back, and you can really just take a lot of stuff. with you, which I have already done. I actually use a rickrack bag that I put on the tour pack, on the luggage rack, and it's been actually fantastic. So let's weave in a couple things maybe that I don't like as much. So I am 6'3", and if you have the driver's backrest on, which I love, and it actually sits me in a better position as far as I'm concerned with the motorcycle, and you have long legs, it does at times feel a little cramped. If you sit in the right riding position, maybe not so much. I tend to be somebody that humps over a little bit, so I'm working on that. So I try to really push back on that backrest to get in the proper riding position. But I know some folks like the road glides. I just am not a fan of the look of the road glide, but I do know that they are, I think, a little more comfortable for a taller person. I also did change out the bars and put these mini apes on, which has me riding in a much more comfortable position. So, like I said, the storage on this thing, the comfort on it, the suspension, and just how it handles is fantastic. I mean, I just really love this. I will tell you that the boom box and the navigation at times can be a little touchy, but that's not this bike. That's any boom box that you get from Harley Davidson. So I happen to be a guy that uses the Waze app, W-A-Z-E. I run that through my phone. So, you can Bluetooth and you can play music from your phone on the motorcycle. I happen to make sure that I use everything on my phone Bluetooth into my headset on my Senna 20C. So, again, the only negatives I can really tell you is if you're super tall, ride the Road Glide and this. And the boombox is the boombox, right? So I would tell you the music is good. You can upgrade it, but if you keep the stock boombox, it's fine when you're running around town at 35. Oops, 41. Is that me? Yep. What's that blue light blinking? So I hope that's not a camera that's going to mail me a ticket. But once you get up into 70 or 80 miles per hour, if you happen to be out riding highway speeds, and the highway speed is 70 miles an hour here in Michigan, then the boombox is kind of tough. Tough to hear the music good unless you do go ahead and do the upgrade. So I will tell you that the motorcycle runs fantastic at high speeds. I rode from Pittsburgh to Michigan here to running right around 75 or so, and it just glides. I mean, it is fantastic. It does have cruise control. It has all those creatures of what a limited, an ultra limited has. I actually considered getting just the Ultra, and the Ultra does not have some of those extra things, doesn't have the luggage rack, and this one also, it does not come with heated grips. The Ultra Limited, this motorcycle, does, and if you haven't had heated grips, they are fantastic. So, stock windshield, everything else on this motorcycle really has been fantastic. I know a lot of people buy a new motorcycle and then say, oh, I surely wish you get it for a year and then you go, oh wow, I'd like to upgrade and get a newer one. I have none of that has entered my mind in trading this bike after a year. I'm going to keep this for a long, long time. Now I may get a second bike that's a little lighter to run around town with, and when I am out riding solo, but at this point, I have no interest in getting rid of this motorcycle because I love it. I do ride 2-up with my wife a bunch, so she is extremely comfortable, and she says it's like being in a lazy boy chair. So, hope this video helps. It's just an average guy giving you a take on this motorcycle after 5,000. If you're looking for some statistics on the Milwaukee 8 and that. I'm not that guy. Go ahead and look them up. But other than that, I really like it. So, hey, thanks for checking in. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. And by the way, also motor vlog about twice a week. I try to put video out, do some gear reviews, rides like this. Have my bride, Mrs. Bodine, on the back a lot, so we do a lot of talk back and forth. We do some touring, and I share those videos. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and hit the subscribe button to the channel and check it out. We'd love to have you join the family. So that is it, folks. Again, my recommendation is, if you are wondering if the Ultra Limited by Harley Davidson is worth it, this average guy says yes. Go buy the damn bike. Have a great day, everybody. Be safe on and off the motorcycle, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.